An American Dream by Rebecca Wallace. Eli could not breathe. His lungs were filled with dust and exhaust. Sweat poured down his face. He held on to the undercarriage of the delivery truck for dear life, knowing if his hand slipped, that would be the end of him. He would be nothing more than a greasy spot on the road, a feast for the vultures. This ticket had cost him $1,200, his entire life savings. A seat would be nice, preferably one with a seatbelt. But Eli knew he could not complain. This was an investment he had to make. It seemed this way across America. Millions had already fled their homes to escape the hell from which they dwelled. Many were arrested and returned to America. Others were not so lucky. It had been almost 14 years since the multi-nation intervention. 14 long years since the world banded together seeking retaliation against the American government. Eli felt no sorrow for his country. He knew that America was the antagonist in a war-stricken world. It was 100 years ago his country began this nuclear warfare against Japan. America was power-hungry and held a sense of world domination. An adolescent America might have called it manifest destiny, but the world saw otherwise. It is true that there has been greed and need, politicians, scandals, and innocent lives lost in the name of power and money. Eli had never known power or money. He assumed them to be associated with miserable, a rival he would rather forget. The only thing Eli knew now was hope and hunger. The truck stopped. Eli took this opportunity to wipe the sweat from his brow. He could hear voices. Clearly they were at the border. Since Eli could not speak Spanish, he took a deep breath and held it. Eli kept his eyes closed tight. He knew if he was caught by the border patrol, he would surely be executed. South America was rather frustrated with the daily increasing number of American refugees, so they often responded with death as a warning signal for the others. Eli knew he would not be readily accepted into Mexico, but since his native land was hardly a place to call home, he knew he had no choice. Finally, the truck started up again and pulled away. A slight smile spread across his face as he tightened the grip against the metal and thought about 2 more reasons he had to hang on. Eli had to save his mother and sister. They were still in the U.S., fighting for their lives. His father had died early in the war, so Eli was the man of the family. His mother could no longer work because it was too dangerous. The suburbs were now the battlefields, and cities had been bombed beyond all recognition. The public school system had been shut down 6 years prior, and the churches had all been burnt to the ground. He had to help his family. If only he could work for a little while to save enough money, he could send it to them. Then they could come to Mexico to start a brand new life. He had a cousin living near Santa Cruz. Surely he could stay there to help him get on his feet. Suddenly, the truck stopped again. Eli could hear someone coming, and then the driver bent down beside the truck and motioned for Eli to come out. Eli rolled out from under the truck, feeling exhausted. The driver asked him if he spoke English. He answered, shook his head no. His arms were aching, and his chest was tight. The driver spat at him and said, "You filthy American trash. If you want to live here, you need to speak the language." Without another word, the driver jumped into the truck and drove away. Eli stood up from the ground and took a deep breath. The city, it swarmed all around him. Children were laughing, people were working, and music was playing. It was true he had not known a life like this for quite some time. He gazed along the skyline. The Mexican horizon was even more beautiful than he ever could have imagined.